So I just want to get straight into the video, and I'm realizing my bracelets are very loud, so I'm gonna try not to move my arm too much. But today, if you can tell by the title, we're gonna be talking about people pleasing and why people pleasing happens, or just like how people become people pleasers. I'm going to be talking about it from my own experience, and maybe some people can relate. And I'm also just going to be talking about some signs that I found that could point to you being a people pleaser. And I'm also going to leave a bunch of websites in the description box that pertain to people pleasing and will show you a bunch of different signs and also help you overcome people pleasing and help you manage your time better so that you aren't just giving away your time to whoever. So to start off, and I have my notebook here, so I'm looking down. So to start off, we're going to talk about what is people pleasing. So people pleasing is basically when you become a doormat for people, to put it honestly. You just kind of have a difficult time saying no. You fear saying no because you don't want to disappoint people. You constantly make yourself available to others, and you're just like constantly running around, zipping around, doing things for other people. Other signs of being a people pleaser is that you neglect yourself because you fear disappointing others. So you don't put yourself first. You do what other people ask of you without even thinking about what you have to do or what tasks you need to get done. You just do what other people expect of you because you don't want to let them down. And I'm going to be talking about like my experience and like just how I've grown up and how these signs have showed up in my life. Another sign that points to, you being a people pleaser is that you apologize for things that aren't your fault. So it's like you feel that you are responsible for things even though you haven't done it or you haven't even committed the crime. It's like you just feel responsible for what has happened. And honestly, that is extremely unfair, because if you have not participated in what has went wrong, then why would it be your fault? Why would you be, at fault for that? Another sign of you suffering or struggling with people pleasing is that you change your personality depending on who you are around. Now, this is something I definitely struggled with growing up as a kid, growing up in middle school, growing up in high school. And I still think this is something I struggle with today. Like, when you're a people pleaser, these habits get instilled in you, and it takes effort and hard work to overcome them. But I would constantly change my personality so that it can fit others and so that others feel more comfortable around me. And I realized how unfair this was to myself. It's extremely unfair to myself because it neglects me getting to know who I truly am. It's like if I'm constantly switching personalities, let's say, then like what is left? Who am I truly when I'm not around these people? And that brings me into my next topic, or the next sign. When you are a people pleaser, you tend to you just don't know how to be alone. You don't know what to do when you're alone time. When you're constantly making time for others, you don't leave any time up for yourself. And so when it's time to be alone, you really just have a difficult time being in that space. It's like you don't know what to do because you're constantly with someone else, or you're constantly doing something for someone else. And so it can be really frustrating to be alone at times. And, to go back to how this has affected me growing up, when I was a kid, I would, people please because I didn't want people to be disappointed in me. I I didn't want to, the main person I was really people pleasing throughout my life before I garnered or created any other friendships or relationships was definitely my family members, and particularly my parental guardian, my mother. My mom was a single mother, and I just remember, you know, doing a lot for her even when I didn't want to. And honestly, this has affected me greatly because it has built up a lot of resentment towards my mother from me, because I constantly would always, you know, do things for her that would try to make her proud or make her happy. And I just never felt like no matter how much effort I put into giving and giving and giving, pleasing, pleasing and pleasing, I never got any in return back. I never was instilled or felt like I was worthy or valuable. And I was constantly people pleasing because I wanted to feel like enough. I wanted to feel like I, you know, was desirable and that I was worthy of something and that I had value. And so I would constantly, you know, do that. I would constantly people please to my mother, or, you know, that was our relationship, because I wanted her to see the value in me, see that I was worthy. And I just wanted that from her. I thought that doing anything for my mother, doing anything that she asked, even when I didn't want to, would grant me that love and attention, the relationship that I wanted from my mother. And this is how I went about all my other relationships. And I was very unaware to how much I was, you know, just pleasing people for the hell of it because I didn't want to lose them. And that is just, it's really unsafe. And it's really painful to put yourself through things like that, because you're constantly seeking validation from something external, and you will constantly feel empty on the inside because sadly external validation is not enough to build a low self-esteem. It may add, but it's like putting down a false pavement. It's like the pavement that you put down, which would be external validation, it will crumble easily because you can't build self-esteem, high self-esteem on top of external validation. You have to have some built up self-love there, some sort of value for yourself and some sort of worthiness for yourself already built. I even had difficulty like having my own opinion, especially as a child. For one, it was like every time you did have your own opinion or every time you wanted to express your own opinion, it was like you got shut down. Personally, for me growing up, I would get shut down. I would always get put back into my place. I would always get put down to this lower value, which I never saw as fair. But I had difficulty, you know, having an opinion of my own, and this followed me into my adulthood or teenagehood. Now as an adult, I think a lot better, and I can tell whether I agree with something or whether I don't agree with something, and I will let that be known. I, as a kid, was definitely agreeing with whatever the older adults around me said because I didn't want to receive a spanking. I didn't want to get popped in the mouth. I didn't want to just get my feelings hurt in general. Like, as a kid, for me, growing up, I was very sensitive. Like, I don't know, it was like, I was just like a sponge. Very empathetic, very sensitive, and I was absorbing everything left and right. I'm a highly sensitive person, and I'm also an empath. And so growing up in an environment where people aren't gentle, people aren't, I guess, considerate of your emotions, that can really damage you because you grow up basically not having a sense of worth or a sense of, you know, value. And I don't say this to, I guess, feel pity or whatever. I just say this because it's pure facts. And I think that, well, for one, I think that parents should be more aware of how they're raising their kid, and like think about how their actions will affect their child in the future, because our youngest relationships truly shape who we are and what we will turn out to be. And as much as I may work on myself, as much as I may put time into myself, do shadow work, and try to overcome my childhood traumas, a lot of the things that I did to survive as a kid, I still do now as an adult, because I haven't learned any other way. I don't know any other way to go about these relationships in my life. And honestly, a lot of the habits that I had when I was growing up with my mother, they followed me into my romantic relationship, with my partner. And I realized that even with him, I will people please, and I will do things even when I don't want to. And that can really suck at times, because like I said, it does build up resentment. Luckily for me, I don't resent my boyfriend. That would suck. And I'm working on releasing my resentment towards my mother. I don't want to resent her, and I don't want to have beef, I guess, between me and my mom. So I took a step back and was like, okay, I need to work on myself and be alone, and deal with my trauma by myself, because as an adult, no one is going to fix your problems. Like, you literally have to overcome this shit by yourself. So it is unfortunate that our parents pass down generational curses and they pass down trauma, and we, a lot of times when our parents aren't fit, we get left doing the job that they were supposed to do for us. And that really, really sucks sometimes, because sometimes you just wish that, like, damn, why can't I build secure attachment with people? Like, sometimes you just wish, like, why did I have to have the childhood that I have, But no need in crying over spilled milk. You cry about the love that you didn't receive as a child, and you keep it pushing. And I'm making this video because I want people to basically feel okay with a past that may not have been so great, and I want them to feel okay with whatever they may be struggling with. And for right now, we're talking about people pleasing, so I want people to be okay with the fact that they may people please. That's like, I think once you accept that, and then you start to work on it with these little tips I'm about to give you, when you work on people pleasing, you will ultimately learn when to say yes, when to say no, and how to balance out your time and be there for people, but also be there for yourself. Because I understand why I people please and why I was doing it. For me, at first, it started off like, okay, I want to help my mom. I want to, not sit around and be dead weight. And on top of that, my mom was also, 5 years into my life, my mom gave birth to my younger sibling, my little sister. And so I really felt the need to step up then. And on top of that, my mother would ask for my support and ask for my help when, taking care of my sister. So sometimes I would get my sister applesauce, or sometimes I would help my mom bathe my sister, or I was doing a lot of things, like caregiver things, at a very young age. I even have memories of bathing my sister and taking care of my sister, and I don't have memories of changing her diaper, but maybe because I didn't know how to do that, but like, I knew how to wash her up, and I knew how to do her hair and put clothes on her. So at first, it was coming from a kind place. It was coming from a place of support. But then somewhere along the lines, I started to be taken advantage of, and I started to let people take advantage of me. I didn't know that what I was doing wasn't healthy. I didn't know that it was a toxic habit. I would just go about life and walk into my relationships, just people pleasing. That was literally like just what I did to keep relationships in my life. Luckily for me, I was surrounded by good people the older I got, and the people that surround me now, they don't want to take advantage of me. They don't want to take advantage of my time. They understand that I am introverted, and they respect that, and they don't take advantage of my time. So, for one, find people who respect you and won't take advantage of you for being kind, caring, and generous. You know, if you're a generous, kind, caring person and you know that you struggle with people pleasing, for sure, pay attention to who you may feel the need to like satisfy more. Like, pay attention to that, because for me, it was my mother. For me, it was certain other family members, but mainly my mother. So, you know, why? Figure out why you want it, why you want to satisfy this person so much. For me, I wanted to satisfy my mother's needs and requests to avoid bad attitude from my mom, avoid a spanking, or avoid some sort of punishment. I just didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want my feelings to get hurt. So people pleasing was like a form of protection for myself. And, you know, another way to overcome this people pleasing, paying attention to those moments when it's difficult to say no. You want to pay attention to the moments where it's difficult to say no. You want to figure out why it was difficult to say no, and you want to figure out how you can help yourself in that situation again when it happens in the future. A lot of times my mom would ask me to babysit my sister, and sometimes she would give the option of like, if you got something else planned or if you got something else to do, you can do that. And I would rarely, I would feel my heart drop when I knew that I wanted to say no. I would feel like so scared to say no, because I knew like my mom would be like, oh, I need you to watch your sister because I have to go to work tonight and I have to do this. And my sister was just, you couldn't leave her alone because she will get into anything and everything. And so I just always felt like this responsibility to say yes, because if not, my mom would have to struggle really, really hard to find out, or like it would just be like a big fuss if I couldn't do it, and I would feel so bad, and I just didn't want to disappoint. I didn't want to disappoint like at all. And so a lot of times I would just say yes. But now I have to now I'm older, and the way you can make things easier for yourself, make more space for yourself, is by, if you really feel the need to, take out certain people, whoever you feel the need to please or satisfy more than others. You need to put a strict boundary between you two, and set a limit of time, of how much time you're going to spend together, and like what you will do for them and what you won't do for them. It's really important that you figure out what you will do for others and what you won't do for others, and what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do. I mean, that's the same thing, but like you want to figure that out so that you're not giving away your time and energy and building up resentment because you didn't really want to do these things. You know, it's just not fair to yourself, and it's not fair to the other person, really, because you're building up this resentment towards them, and like they just think that you want to do it, you know? So it's really important that you just are clear with yourself first about what you're going to do and what you won't do. I would say that, I mean, of course, the journey of overcoming people pleasing probably won't be as easy, because it's going to take some repetition to cancel out the people pleasing thought process. It's going to take a lot of repetition to get over those thoughts and stop thinking that way and stop behaving that way. But it is very possible, and you should never give up on yourself. You should get right back the fuck up and keep fighting. That's what you should do. You should never give up on yourself. So, you know, overcoming this, you really want to pay attention to the patterns of your people-pleasing habit. You know, who are you people-pleasing? Why do you do this? Pay attention to the patterns. When you figure out these patterns, you can learn how to respond differently in the future, and you can learn, you know, what decisions are safest for you to make. So you need to figure out why you feel a certain need to satisfy certain people more than others. Just like for me, I didn't want to disappoint my mom. I didn't want to get my mom worked up and really angry. So that was my reasons. What are yours? Think about what you have to do or what you need to do before you pick up a task or before you do something for someone else. It's really important that you get your shit done and you be the best versions of yourself, it's best that you fill your own cup first before going out and trying to fill up other people's cups, because you are going to like get the shorthand of the stick every time. You're going to forever be low on energy, low on desire to do anything for yourself. There's going to be a constant lack of self-care in your life because you aren't budgeting or balancing your time right. And that is what's really important. You need to really make sure that you set aside time for yourself to check things off your to-do list, to check things off of your goals. And, you know, spend time doing things that bring you happiness and that align with your values and the things that you care about. You may like creating art. You may like working with clay. You may like making jewelry. You may like, you know, fashion and shopping. I'm not saying go shopping all the fucking time, but I'm just saying participate in your hobbies. Participate inside your hobbies and have a good time and put yourself first, because you matter. You gotta fill your cup up first so that you can be the best version for other people. And show up for other people and, you know, be the kind, caring, generous person that you are. I really want to remind people that putting yourself first is really important, especially if you've been neglecting on that. I can't say who has or what, but it's really important that you take the time out for yourself. You probably, you know, heard this before, and if you hear this a lot, then maybe you need to take some more time out for yourself and just do something that you love, or take a really nice bath, or focus on something that you know you haven't been giving enough time to. Like if you need to finish a project or whatever, just focus on whatever you have not been giving enough time to so that you can feel good about yourself and your actions. I want people to understand that saying no does not make you a bad person, but constantly saying yes will put you down a path of like emotional turmoil. Like you will just be filled with resentment towards these people because you thought that all along that if you did these things for people, they would repay the effort. They would repay the, you know, what you did for them. And you can't expect that from everybody, because some people have different habits set up for them. Some people know how to make time for themselves and, you know, do self-care. And so it's important you do that for yourself too, instead of building up resentment. And if you know that you have resentment built up towards someone who you did a lot of people pleasing for, I say put a break between y'all two, put some sort of boundary between y'all two where you're not spending as much time with them, and focus on yourself, focus on healing from the pain that person may have caused. My last reminder is spend more time getting to know who you are, especially if you will, you know, change your personality depending on who you're around. That was something I did a lot. That's something I still kind of do because it's hard to realize when I'm doing it, but I am on a journey of healing, and I can be honest about that. I'm not ashamed that I may still struggle with people pleasing. I'm making this video, you know, to show others that like, hey, you could be doing this too, and it's time to get on the path of healing from it. It's time to get on the path of being an assertive, boundary setting person, because there's nothing wrong with being that type of person. That's it for this video. I've been talking for 30 minutes. I hope that, you know, me talking from experience and me showing you guys the signs really helps you see how you're people pleasing too. And I hope that you guys take some time out to, you know, figure out what boundaries you need to set, and then set those boundaries. I really hope you guys do. And please look at the other links that I left in my description box, and you'll also find my Instagram in there too. But, and like more information about me, little small stuff, but like, if you did enjoy this video, please check out those other links, and please get help for yourself if you feel like you can't do it alone. Seek therapy, and, you know, just strive to be a better version of you every day, even if you have to take it slow. Other than that, if you really liked what I said, if you liked my vibe, my energy, please subscribe to me. I would really like that. My goal is to upload once or twice every week, but it will probably just be once a week. So yeah, we're just gonna say it's gonna be once a week. And please subscribe, please comment if you got something to say. Please like if you liked the video. Anyways, just have a good day, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you liked this video and you want to see more of this type of content, because I will be making similar. And that's it. Deuces.